So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
And the first mistake of the podcast is to click us so to make sure we're on the screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. I do have an excuse as to why I forgot to do that. I'm after getting a pretty new setup today. Just been setting it up. That's why we're 7 odd minutes late. Just checking to see that everything was right, and I'm trying to figure out where everything is again. But that's my problem and not yours. Aston Villa play Sheffield United at the weekend after probably the biggest Aston Villa event of the weekend, where we go to interview Paul McGrath, but also we have roughly another hour and 8 minutes, I think, before the transfer window closes. And who knows if there's a cat to come out of a bag, but we will discuss the transfers with Paddy of the players that have come in. And I suppose, Paddy, no, do you know what? We'll do the Sheffield United piece first, and we'll get on to the transfers afterwards, because something may happen, although albeit unlikely, in the next hour or so. But Paddy, Villa go to Bramall Lane, and I suppose you could kind of say they go there in need of a win. Bottom of the table, Sheffield United. We've been here before. I remember not too long ago, just talking about a preview show for Aston Villa versus Sheffield United, and saying, yeah, we're going to go and beat them, go top of the league. And now reverse it from there. I suppose what we're looking to do is to beat Sheffield United to get back into fourth place again. And it's a game of fine margins, I think, within the Premier League so far. But talk to me a small bit about it, Paddy. You know, like, there's no point in us going too much into the team and stuff like that about who we think will be playing, but let's talk a small bit more about the significance of this game at the weekend.
Well, I think the significance of it is huge. I think it's a game that we need to win now. They're all most especially against the team at the bottom of the league. We spoke the other night about the importance of. Oh God! Why am I?
Did you turn?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Yeah, go for it. We just can't see you.
Hello.
There you go. You're back again.
Yeah, we spoke previously before the last game about the importance of winning home games, but it's the games at the bottom, even the away games. We need to be getting points on the board. It is so important that we get back on track, and the sooner we do that, the better. And it has to be this weekend. We said before the Newcastle game that it was going to be open and expansive. This needs to be too, because they need to get out of the shit as well. If they're not picking up wins, then they're going to be cut adrift from the rest. So there's no point in them sitting waiting on draws now. They need to get the 3 points on the board. So we've got to hope that they come at us, try play, and then go and pick them off.
Yeah, and look, I don't think they're going to be as naive to come and try to play, be at home and try to play. But I think that for us, the naivety for us would be that we can just pass it around in front of this team again. You know, we haven't been able to pass it around in front of a team for a while now. We need to have a different cutting edge. There needs to be a lot more movement off the ball, specifically in midfield. There needs to be a lot more. You know, we can't rely on the. Well, it's not that we can't rely. It's just we haven't been able to get them going. In a while, is the triangles in midfield that we've been playing with Dougie, then switching the ball out wide, and then getting into that kind of W attacking formation. People have taken away, and what people have taken that away from us, and what they've actually taken away from us is not our fullbacks getting high, because they're allowing us to do that, but they're taking away the spacing in midfield. And I'm going to go blue in the face from this, and it all comes down to the midfield, like getting that number 10, that John McGinn, who was the guy who was able to push forward into that number 10 role, to create that W effect. With we had our wing back, it would come back into John McGinn, then it would go Ollie Watkins, then it would come back into Douglas Luiz and back out to Dion Bailey. That kind of W setup that we had as we were going forward, which allowed Kamara to stay back and mind the house, along with another one of the midfielders as well. So like that's really, really paramount to how Unai Emery has been playing. If you can't get that 10 up there in that instance, what it does is it allows everybody to congregate on top of Ollie Watkins. It means that the person on the other side has to come narrow, and then when we cross the ball in, we're all when the spacing is wrong like that, if the ball goes over the top, it's just a useless ball. And if the ball, because Watkins has 3 people around him as opposed to only 1 or potentially 2, he's crowded out of it, and everybody's like, Ollie Watkins is shite. And this isn't me standing up for Ollie Watkins. It's just a tactical thing. And for me, that's the most frustrating part, is that we can't get that sorted, or we haven't been able to get that sorted out over the last couple of weeks. And in an attacking sense, that to me is beginning to drive me bonkers. So we need to come up with a different formula with regards to that, whether it's carrying the ball from midfield a bit more. But we're being forced out wide by design by teams, because they know we can't set up inside, and they know that they can slow us down in that, just as we hit that middle, that attacking third. And that's what I want Aston Villa to do. And that's why I don't think Sheffield United are going to come out of their shell too much. Because I think that they'll think they can catch us at corners, or they think they can catch us at set pieces, and I don't think they will. So what I'm for here is,
I think it's more hope than anything else, though, Neil, about the great day that we're going to have on Saturday, that you're hoping that they're not going to catch us. And look, you mentioned about that W,
catch us anyway.
The W formation that we've adopted in attack. Unfortunately, now with the way things have gone, we will have to diversify a little bit. We will have to change things up, and we will have to look at how we attack those that are basically stifling our attack. We need a different outlet from Ollie Watkins. We need to see him running across the front post to try and get on the end of something. It's just going to be a different kind of attack impetus that we haven't seen. And look, that's down to the maestro to work this out. You look at Man City, you look at Liverpool. They play the same way week in, week out. We're not of the level of player to be able to do that. So they will have to switch it up a little bit, and until the day comes that we're playing Champions League football, we're attracting that kind of player. We're all singing off the same hymn sheet and doing something different when it needs to be done. But for now, we've just got to move with whoever we're playing against, and move them around, as opposed to them moving us around and forcing us out wide, which is what's ultimately getting us. I think a huge loss for us has been Luca Dean, because he gives us that just a little bit of a different ball into the box. So just to be able to switch that up a little bit. And look, we could see our new signing in there at the weekend. Anything is possible. We saw Jacob Ramsey being largely ineffective. Maybe he's not fully up to speed after his injury. So
tough game to come into too as well. Tough game. We were 3-0 down at that. We were 3-0 down at that stage. So it was a tough game to come into.
Was it 2-0 or 3-0 when he came on? Whatever it was. But he found it very difficult to get into the game. Look, it's got to be a fresh start. It's got to be a fresh approach to breaking down Sheffield United. It's not that long ago since we played them, so we should be fairly fresh in our minds.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, Sheffield United haven't been overly active in the transfer market either. I think they're hedging their bets with regards to their fate at the moment. You know, it would be miraculous for them to get out of it, but 3 points at the weekend starts an awful lot of belief in there, because we've got 16 games left in the league. You know, it looks like they're going to pick up. Well, last I read, actually, sorry, I don't know whether they will, but Mason Holgate potentially could be going to Sheffield United. I don't know if that's been done. It was rumored during the day as well. They had Joe Worrell as well from Forest. So they're picking up hardened players as opposed to, scrappy players, as opposed to the flair players that they're going to, and that's probably what they need as well. And they know they're going to have to tighten up in defence, because I think Chris Wilder thinks if I draw the next 16 games, there's a likelihood, that he won't stay up if he draws the next 16 games. But you know what I mean? If he won 4 and drew 4, you're probably looking at 20 points there. That gets you to 30 points. And the way this league is going this year, 30 points might get you over there,
9 points from safety. But Neil, much bigger news. We love breaking a transfer story live on air. We've just signed Joe Gauci.
Yeah. Joe Gauci is officially signed. Yeah, Joe Gauci is a villain. I spoke a bit about him today. Actually, I had a really good chat today with Frankie from Frankie McGuire from All Villa No Filler podcast as well. To go and have a look at it. Frankie's a good guy and of Limerick heritage, so I'll never ever say no to Frankie whenever he wants to chat. But we spoke about this today. You know, the Villa. It seems like, and from people I've spoken to as well, the Villa are high up, are really, really high on this guy. They think obviously he's going to need 3 to 4 years or 2 to 3 years anyway, at least I suppose. He's coming in with that in his mind. He's going to be a backup, but they see him as a long-term backup to eventually take over. Known to our under-21s manager, whose name I cannot pronounce, but Joseph, whatever you call it, known to him from his time in Australia, albeit he never coached him. And that's probably where this one has come from. But there's some great guys from Australia, the likes of Tristan, the likes of Timmy as well, or guys who listen to this all the way down in Oz. They were banging my DM straight away saying this guy is pretty good, you know, so don't be too disappointed by this signing, because they will be disappointed, but this guy is really well thought of in Australia and he's already broken into the senior team as well. So let's see what comes of it. But again, with all goalkeepers, I ain't going to sit here and pretend that I know. Believe it or not, at 5'7", I did play for a year in goals. But less said about that, the better, because one player did score 6 goals in me in one game. So we will completely. And he's probably the best player I've ever seen play football. But that doesn't excuse it. Doesn't excuse it.
I still have the
5'7" in goals. Like, who puts him in goals? Just because I was injured and then I ended up staying there for the year. But
well, Neil, there's a length of a hair between the two of us, and Del Boy, who is normally in the comments, will tell you that our goalkeeper was sent off one day in a quarter final, and I saved the penalty, and I hold the record of the only goalkeeper that was never beaten in that club, because the club is now folded. So it's the only goalkeeper that ever stood in goal.
Yeah,
I kept the every game I played in goal, I kept a clean sheet. But yeah, there's something about us vertically challenged lads playing in goal.
I think it's small dog syndrome, Petty. I think it's small dog syndrome. That's what we have. We think we can do it. Lucas Bergveld to Tottenham has just been announced by Fabrizio Romano. Did not see that coming at all. He was in Barcelona for the last 3 days. Seems Spurs have got an absolute pearl of a player there. Absolute pearl. Probably the best player to come out of Scandinavia since Christian Eriksen, Henrik Larsson. That level of player. They've got an absolute gem. Fucking Spurs. Fucking Spurs is right.
Fucking Spurs have done everything right, Neil. The stadium is fucking a cash cow for them. Yeah. It's going to be that way for a long, long time, and they're definitely a club on the up. And you know what? As much as I don't have much love for them or their fans, I'd love to be in the position they are with the how much I despise their owners and how they tried to sign Jack Grealish back in the day.
Yeah.
But look, they've done everything right. They've put this incredible venue and let's be honest, it's one of the greatest fucking venues in the world now at this stage. It's capable of holding anything. So fair play to them. If they continue to gamble and they continue to do, you know, and they've got a great manager in there, absolutely amazing. So hopefully,
and that's the thing, you know, they ain't like FFP ain't going to touch the sides of them anytime soon. You know, so they have done it right, and we're in a happy place when it comes to financial and revenue for a club that's of the same size, if not bigger, with way more success in our past. You know, we were neck and neck, and financially, you know, with FFP and stuff like that, Spurs have that. That's an absolutely incredible. Genuinely, I'm taken aback by that deal there. That's just been done, because that guy is really good. Anyway, back to Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Paddy, we'll most likely, well, it's not most likely, we absolutely will be graced, I would say, with the presence of Cameron Archer at the weekend. With it being transfer window season and so on, like as the year kind of goes on, I'm a bit more reluctant to say he's going to be back in a Villa shirt anytime soon. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong. He hasn't exactly set the world on fire, but he still has time.
He hasn't been bad either. The thing is, I'm thinking like if we get to the Champions League, I just can't see us activating the buyback.
No, and that's the thing. If we continue on the trajectory we were going before this, let's call it the speed bump that we've hit. I don't believe the Cameron Archer fits the profile of what we need to have in our squad. So it's probably money in the bank that's not going to be going back to Sheffield United. But isn't there some buyback clause if they get relegated?
If they get relegated, it only ends up costing us 2 million.
Right, okay.
But that was the maths I did. I was speaking to a Sheffield United podcaster, and we were trying to do the maths together because it was pretty effectively. They did leak the deal. The deal did leak at one stage, and what it was if Sheffield United get relegated and Villa buy him back, we pretty much only lose about 2 million. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm like going, do you just do it for the sake of that 2 million? You know, because it's an interesting one. It'll be an interesting one. Yeah, like Daniel Hardy says here. It says here, maybe we buy him back and sell him again. Can't really do that in the same year, but you know, like in the same transfer window. But you can buy him back in the summer and send him out on loan and see how he goes again, or you know, he can only play for 2 clubs in the one season. Is that right? Yeah.
So once he doesn't play for us, he could be sold again. So who knows? It could be the greatest bit of business we ever did. So we'll just have to wait and see how financially that works out. But I think from what I remember and what you're saying, that it could come back. We probably could buy him back very cheaply and then sell him on again for a similar figure. So we'll see what happens.
I think at the weekend, Paddy, I think we're going to see the reappearance of Jacob Ramsey, as you mentioned. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him start. And the more I think about it, the more I think he will if he's fit. I also think Diego Carlos is going to come back into the mix. I think it's going to be Diego Carlos and Longley and their concert right back. What do you think, Paddy? Just feels a bit more right to me now for this game.
I'd never second guess what he's going to do in there. What worries me now is how quick we can get Pau Torres back into the fray. How far away he is. It's just not spoken about. I didn't spot him in that video today. Did you spot him training today?
You know what, Paddy? I was going to bring it up because somebody posted a video where Mister is there and there's a guy, a real tall guy with black hair, and they were saying there was a debate whether it was Zaniolo or whether it was Pau. But Zaniolo's got blondie streaks through his hair. So I think it's Pau.
Okay.
But I don't know. It could as easily be Emi Martinez. It's the back of a guy with black hair, but it kind of looked like Pau Torres.
He's not black. He's not black hair, is he?
Who, Pau?
Yeah.
Pau does have black hair. Am I wrong in that?
I wouldn't have said it was black hair. I would have thought it was fair, but he had. Anyway, I was looking at it very closely because somebody asked me to watch the last 5 seconds in that Twitter post today. I think it was the fact that Morgan Rogers was at the back of the sprint. Was that what it was? He was asking me to watch.
That's what it was. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. They were like, "Don't watch the last 5 seconds, Paddy." Yeah. I'm going to try and find that video, Paddy. So, if you're wondering, am I listening to you? I absolutely am. But I'm going to try and find that. Not that
no choice because you got buds in your ears listening to me, so it's grand.
I've got buds in my ears. Right.
I would just like to know when he's back. I just think we could really do with him. We could really do with him back. It's a big week ahead, having to play Sheffield United away, having to try and stay in the FA Cup, and then Man United at home. I think it's important we get him back into it.
Do you know what? I was going to take a screenshot of it. I'm just going to play the bloody video from the Aston Villa account here. Give me a second. Okay, right. This is it. This is cutting edge. This is cutting edge. So this man here, tell me who this man is here. That's just turned around right beside Mister with the snud on. That ain't Zaniolo, lads.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't Zaniolo. Does anyone know what? Has anybody Paddy, when you sat in the hold, what did Pau Torres' arse look like?
I certainly wasn't looking at it, Neil, so I've no idea what his arse looked like. But did I see Morgan Rogers with a snood like that on? But his hair looks a bit...
That's not Morgan. I don't think that's a man of colour. Like, there's Morgan Rogers there. Although it could be that's not Morgan Rogers' hair. He's got
Go
shorts
again.
on the side.
Go back to it. I
That's
think that
Morgan.
might be.
Watch his hair. No, watch Morgan Rogers' hair. This hair is sitting there. This hair is quiffed across. It's like this.
That's just a shine off his hair.
Not at all. Not at all. That's Poe. Yeah, people are believing that has to be Poe. I'm thinking it's Poe. Let's go ahead. Let's see if we can get anything. Do you know what this reminds? Wait a minute. Do we see anything there? Do you know what it'll probably turn out to be? It'll probably turn out to be some 16-year-old goalkeeper that they've called up or something like that. No. But no, I think that's a white man. I think. Yeah. And that looks like Pau Torres is there. Okay, right. Let's do this. Pau Torres.
Neil, while you're there, and the people are in the comments, but let's just draw attention to something that's just happened at Molyneux. When we went live, I think Man United were 3-0 up. It's now 3-3.
Is it? Holy.
3-3. They scored a penalty, Sariba, then Kilman, and now Neto scored in the 96th minute. Wow.
Right.
Mad night.
I have to be careful here now. Sharing
with your phone.
Sharing full screen, making sure is my Wi-Fi. Whoa.
This is not actually great footage for people who are going to listen to this on the way to work tomorrow.
No, Paddy, it's not great footage, but if we can come to a conclusion that Pau Torres is back, we're breaking news, Paddy. We're breaking news if that's the
case. He could be just standing at the side of the pitch. We didn't see him running. We just saw him looking at Mister and listening to his dulcet tones.
Okay, right. Look, here we've got some pictures of Pau Torres. Like, that's
Man United just scored 4-3.
Who did?
Man United.
United. Well, look, we've got more pertinent matters here. Yeah. Screw United. Look at that hair. Look at that hair now. Just look at it and think of it freshly cut, something along the lines of this. Okay, and then we go back to here. Yes, apologies to everybody who's listening to this, but this is good stuff here. This is good stuff. Go on to YouTube and watch it if you can. That's Pau Torres' hair, everyone.
Yeah, I think the cut of his jib there now. I think you're right. I think it could be him.
Do you know what it reminds
shoulders?
Me of?
Oh, yeah. Big man, small shoulders. I think it's Pau. Yeah.
Did you this reminds me of my favorite part of Question of Sport. Question of Sport RIP, which is now going to be gone, but it was the mystery person. Yeah, Question of Sport got cancelled. The curse of Paddy, what you call him. Every TV show he's had has been cancelled recently. So anyway, we can just break news. Pau Torres is on the field. I'm confident enough to say that Pau Torres is on the field. It's back on grass, and whether he plays is not. Oh, somebody's saying here it could be Longley. I don't think it is. Somebody's saying it could be Longley, but
yeah. Captain just says, "Sure, spot no Torres." Okay.
Longley. Oh Jesus, it could be Longley. No, I don't think it is. Longley's haircut's too tight. It's too tight. You can set your watch by Longley's haircut. That one is a bit of quiff to it. Anyway, back to matters of fresh, Paddy. Yeah, so look, I suppose the Sheffield United game at the weekend, we're 23 minutes in and we flip-flop between the two, but I think it's going to be a big game. 3 points for Villa is huge. Would be an even bigger 3 points for Villa if what you call them last night, Brentford didn't do a Houdini act and disappear after Maupay went throwing darts. But they did, and they ended up 3-2 to Spurs. But Villa, like, I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm looking forward to watching it with 250 screaming Aston Villa fans as well. After we interview Paul McGrath. Paddy, with regards to the transfer market as well today, Bertrand Traore has decided to tear up his contract. Contract was terminated, and he's going to go to Villarreal. I think it's a great move for him. I think it's a great league for him to go to. Talk to me about his time at the club, Paddy, because online I've heard a lot of people very negative about his time at the club, and I just don't think he ever did anything to warrant negativity.
Look, I've a bee in my bonnet about Jose Mourinho and how he treated Mo Salah and Kevin De Bruyne, and I was so hopeful that Bertrand Traore was going to be the next man to prove him wrong. He didn't quite reach the heights, unfortunately. I would have loved him to be the next Mo Salah or the next Kevin De Bruyne. Unfortunately, we got a few magic moments, specifically that amazing quick feed against the Baggies and the goal against Leicester, which was amazing. So for those two reasons, I will remember him fondly. Just the guy couldn't keep himself match fit, couldn't keep himself on the pitch, didn't do enough for me. But I will remember, I have fond memories of those two goals, and there's been many more players like that over the years that have just done a couple of magic things that we remember and seem to forget all the bad times. But yeah, that's how I try to remember how Bertrand Traore's time was, and just with a little tinge of disappointment that it wasn't better.
Yeah, I suppose you got to know what you have with him. Like when Bertrand Traore came in, he was always going to be this firecracker on the field. Like you were not going to, like he was going to be this rat of a drain type of player. You know, you weren't going to know what way he was going to go when he came out the other side. Was he going to go left, right? Was he going to go? And that was probably his biggest problem. Was the other players in the team just at times didn't have a clue what he was going to do. And he comes across as somebody who just loves playing football. Now, there's been times when he shied out of games and stuff like that, but no, he scored 10 goals in 62 appearances for us. That's not a bad return for a winger. You know, that's above average for a lot of Aston Villa wingers that have come through the doors in the last 10 years. Now, that's above average. And I would say to him, you know, while there's going to be no statues built of him as well, you know, for me, I'll be looking back and I'll be going, do you know what? I could make a very good argument and not back down that his goal against Leicester was the catalyst for us. No, he did. He scored against Leicester, and I think he scored against Forest, was it? Yeah, it was. It was Forest. But his goal against Leicester, when we were like devoid of anything, like literally just like out in our feet with ideas, he pings one in out of nowhere, an absolute cracker of a goal. Arguably, that's the catalyst for a massive run we go on afterwards. You know, so while he was a scorer of great goals, I think it's fair to say, but he was erratic and he got injured, unfortunately, at times, and managerial changes didn't help. Like Gerrard couldn't stand it, probably because of his maverick nature, you know. So I think it swings and roundabouts with a player like that. You have to like stability would have probably been his best friend, from the fact of him staying on the field and from the fact that managerial changes. I think he probably would have lost his pace at some stage in the team as we progressed through. But like, there's no point that I could look at him and say, yeah, he was a poor influence on the team. He was, he didn't like, you know, he was exactly what I thought he would be, I suppose. After the first 10 games, you know, you looked at him after the first 10 games, you go, yeah, any hope you have here of being able to tame this horse is gone. Like, this guy ain't being tamed. He's going to do that maverick stuff. Like the no look passes across the field were comical at times, but I don't think it's enough for me to turn around and say, yeah, he was, you know, he Beckham, I'm glad he was gone. I think he'll go with my blessing anyway. I think he'll go with my blessing for those goals, for the goal against Baggies. And that was the first time I ever actually met you in person, Paddy. I think was that game. No,
it was Fulham, wasn't it?
It was Fulham. Yeah, it was Fulham. And the one then against Leicester. I just think that goal against Leicester is more important than we would like to admit, and for where we were going at that time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Wish you all the best in the sunny south of Spain, Mr. Traore. But yeah, as I say, it's 70. You'd see 74. You'll see 78k off our wage bill, going forward, which is a big chunk, and potentially that could pay for the 4 people we've just brought in. Who knows?
I've lost the comment. I should have started, but somebody mentioned that it costs us 17 million and 5 years of wages. That's an absolutely fine thing to say. I think there's probably been worse players that if you look at, when you go back, that probably cost us more. Coutinho maybe be one. Probably playing multiples of that 70. Yeah, there you go. Probably paying multiples of that wages, the 75 grand a week reported wages that he's paying. And we still have him on the wage bill. So look, Sarko, you're absolutely fine with what your opinion is. I just wanted to highlight that because I'd lost the
yeah, but
comment.
I think like 10 goals out of 62 appearances. Now, if we even I think the return was good on when he was actually on the field. The return was decent.
But he
It's
wasn't on the
just the
field.
injuries,
Permanently injured. Yeah.
You can't blame the club. You can't blame the player for being injured. It's not like he got injured falling off a motorbike.
But I think what irked people the most was that every time the tournament rocked around, he was playing for Burkina Faso and not playing for us.
And that's fair.
And maybe that was something that was going on behind the scenes, and he just wasn't wanted on the pitch. We'll never know. So anyway, I wish him good luck. It's 75 grand off the wage bill for half a season. So happy days.
Happy days indeed. As I say, because it allows us a small bit more flexibility, and we've 39 more minutes to go. Just checking Twitter there to see if there's any other Villa news. There doesn't seem to be. Looks like Callum Chambers is going to be staying at Villa Park. Latest was that he had turned down three. He turned down 3 championship clubs. I think you know. Honest with you, that kind of annoys me more than anything the Bertie did. In a way, because if he wants to go and play, and actually that's probably unfair of me, because maybe he feels he can get game time here. And I think I'm okay with that. You know, Bertie went out on loan a couple of times. Well, when we go back to the 17 and 5 a year, he was out on loan for partially out on loan last year, where there would have been bits of his wages picked up. But that's splitting hairs, that's semantics, I know, but
no, but you're right. You're right to highlight that. But look, with the likes of Callum Chambers, an older player with a family probably at this stage, the decision needs to be right for the family. I'd never begrudge a guy to refuse a loan. Reportedly, one of those teams interested was in Scotland. Big move for the family. Even
West Brom was in as well, though.
West Brom was fine. Yeah. Allegedly West Brom were in, Hull were in, and a team in Scotland. So we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Yeah. We don't know if that broke down between the clubs even. So it will be wrong for us to make a decision on that. But sure, look, what can we do?
Yeah. What can we do? Least we could have done was send him to West Brom after the pillaging we've done to West Brom over the last 3 years. But hey, I'm never going to cry about the baggies, unfortunately. I just won't. And someone made a great point today. Actually, I think it was when Kellen Quinn, who we're reliably informed, Paddy, is Irish qualified, but probably won't ever end up playing for Ireland. Villa's new signing.
That depends on how good he gets, Neil. Because
exactly. That depends on how good he gets. Yeah. It's like, what was I getting at there? Oh yeah, so like all these players there, West Brom. Someone made a great point to me today. They said, as soon as our inner city academy gets set up, West Brom, Birmingham can kiss goodbye. The pick of the young kids, and that's only a small thing, but it's a big thing, I suppose, as well, because we're paying $1 million for players within our catchment area, here, there, and everywhere. And I know $1 million ain't going to break the bank for a younger player like that, but he's only 16 years of age, So like, if you can get them before you've paid $1 million for them as well, then your academy starts paying for itself an awful lot quicker. But I thought that was a great point, that the inner city academy, just because where Bodymoor is, the inner city academy opens up so many avenues for Aston Villa. And look, as much and all as Wolves, West Brom, Birmingham want to think that they're going to be able to create, that they can create what Aston Villa have in a short space of time, they just can't. Because just like we spoke about Spurs and what Spurs have done over the last 10-15 years, Villa are 10 years ahead of where any of those are from an infrastructural point of view anyway. So that's a big hope, I think, for Aston Villa.
And unfortunately, the way the world has gone, we don't get street footballers anymore. We don't get kids playing football in the street and becoming tougher, playing against people who are older than them. So it's great to have that inner city academy to capture on a train line as well, so people can get there quite easily, and a bus, obviously, and being so close to Villa Park that you can kick the ball around and look over your shoulder and see that absolute beast of a stadium over your shoulder to give you something to strive for.
When you said there about street footballers, we've just you talk about street footballers, the street footballer of all street footballers is Bertrand Traore. And, you know, I think, and I know what you mean about playing against the older kids and stuff like that, but this guy's 16. He's been playing with the under 23s already, I think. Same with Lino Souza, who we'll talk about some of the signings we've made. Lino Souza was 16, 17 playing with the 23s. And the same with Morgan Rogers was playing way above his age group as well. So, you know, I think if you're good enough, you're old enough, still applies from that point of view. It's just way more structured. You know, you don't have that spontaneity of street football. I think is the big thing.
Exactly.
Like, arguably, they say that Wayne Rooney was last street footballer, but I think that was just for TV purposes for his TV show.
And on recommendation today, I listened to a podcast called I Had Trials Once, which had Alan Wright on for 2 hours today. So I done a long drive today listening to Alan Wright talking a lot about Paul McGrath, funnily enough, which was why it was recommended to me by Dan Bardell. So I listened to it today to pass the couple of hours drive that I had, and it was enjoyable.
Vinny asked a really good question, and he says the big question in the transfer window is how many people will still be standing in Limerick in 48 hours time. That'll be 10:30 on Saturday evening, and yeah, there's an answers on a postcard there for that if anybody has it, because I'm really looking forward to this weekend, Vinny. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Never met you in person. Had you on the podcast a couple of times, Vinny. Really looking forward to putting a body to the face, because I've only ever seen you from here up. But yeah, looking forward to that. Paddy, a couple of other players that we've signed. I didn't get your opinions on, I suppose, Lino Souza. We signed from Arsenal last night. I had Will from the Hale End Productions, Away from Hale End podcast, which solely looks at Arsenal Academy graduates and Academy players. So really good insight from him. Says that he's big, strong, athletic, just one of these athletic freaks, 6'1", can play that inverted left back role like Zinchenko was actually playing it before Arteta started to play it with Zinchenko. He was playing it in the youths. He was supposed to be somebody who would have been elevated towards the first team, but then Zinchenko started to play Tomiyasu a bit more. When Tomiyasu was supposed to go out, the pathway was opened up for him with Nuno Tavares going, with Kieran Tierney going, with that guy Gomez going as well. So it was kind of opened up for him, but Arteta seemed to have kind of pulled the handbrake on it a small bit by playing Tomiyasu a small bit more when he didn't leave. And then it left it open for Souza, saying, I think it's about, if I'm not going to get a loan, I think it's about time I went and played football. So he's ended up at Villa to sign his contract and then headed on the bus back down to Plymouth. A big long bus journey down to Plymouth then afterwards to trudge the trek of many's a Villa player in the last couple of years. But he's going to play with Ian Foster. He's old England under-19 manager who knows him inside out. So that's a brilliant sign for me, Paddy, that Ian Foster was like, hey, give him down to me here, because he's somebody I know that I can get playing.
Gaz has decided to reiterate a comment that you said to me today.
I said it to you yesterday. I goes, this might be the only line out that you actually like, Paddy.
Look, you're asking for my opinion. I don't know enough about him. I hope he goes and tears it up at Plymouth. Great club, Plymouth. Been really good to us in the last few years, taking our loanees. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he lines up. And look, he has Finn Azaz to follow. He has Kane Kessler-Hayden to follow. So it should be interesting to see how he gets on there.
The one thing I'm looking to see is if he can break his way into the team. Plymouth still play that kind of back three under Foster. They played they played that back three under Schumacher as well previously. And that was one of my reluctance about what you call it, about Ken Kessler-Hayden and how much would he actually grow from that. But it's so with them taking Souza, I wonder, are they going to play him as a fullback or are they going to play him as a left centre half? So I like that's the piece for me that I'm going to look at. He's 6'1". You know, the interesting part for me there is, could he be a left-footed Ezri Konsa? Because because Lino Souza won't be the only person who's both English and Portuguese qualified. So, there could be bits and pieces like that as well. And Cat Cannon says, hope Plymouth beat Leeds and we beat Chelsea. Well, he can't play against us because we would be his player. Oh, maybe he can in the cups, can he?
No.
I think you can make an agreement in the cups for lower league teams.
The likelihood of making an agreement now is another story. You would hope he'd learn those.
I'd have no problem playing him. Why wouldn't you play him? No.
In case we lose.
We could just easily lose if he doesn't play. So I prefer to get a look at him. But anyway, that's beside the point. It's an interesting one, and hopefully he comes as good, because the Arsenal fans seem a bit pissed off about losing him. In fact, actually, they're more so kind of a bit more annoyed at the fact that their underage strategy is left them bereft of left backs. I think even through the whole way up in the academy system, apparently there's obviously 14, 15, 16, 17s, they probably have quite a lot. But when you get to the mature ages of 18 and above, they're thin on the ground, apparently. But hey, look, that's Arsenal's problem and not ours. And obviously known to Mark Harrison, and somebody that we wanted to sign before he went to Arsenal as well. So again, has that family tree of playing with West Brom before, which is requisite now to be able to get your passport stamped to get into B6. So we'll be able to see what comes of him, over the next few weeks and months.
Yeah. Kieran asked, how many people from Birmingham are going to Limerick? Kieran, I can't tell you definitively what the answer is, but there's some arriving in Saturday, both into Dublin and Cork Airport. So they've all messaged us individually that they're getting there. But as far as I know, it will just be you and the Irish lads having a few beers tomorrow night. So we'll and Rob Warner arrives in tomorrow. So we'll have fun tomorrow night, regardless of who's there. There's plenty of Irish people around to have fun.
Absolutely. The fees, Paddy, actually, just because, as I say, we're in a fluid situation with the transfer market. So if you look at the upfront fees that we've paid for players, Morgan Rogers apparently is £8 million. So we just convert things to euros for a moment, because Fabrizio Romano reports and stuff in euros. So you're talking £8 million, which let's call that €9 million. Joe Gauci, €1.5 million. Nedeljkovic, €8 million. And we don't know what Lino Souza was. The guys from Hale in production seem to think it was about £2 million. So we'll round up to €3 million. So what does that come to? 11. It comes to just under €20 million for 4 players under the age of 21. Under the age of 23. Joe Gauci is 23.
Yeah.
A 23-year-old goalkeeper is the same as about a 19-year-old outfield player. His goalkeeper's age in dog years. Or no. Yeah, the opposite way around. I think that's pretty frugal when you think about it. In a good way. I mean that in a good way. I mean that if the club have decided to fill gaps now with opportunistic signings, and given that they've loaned 2 of them out, these signings weren't for this year. That makes me think they were opportunistic. Well, they've pretty much, they've loaned 2 of them out, and Joe Gauci is going to be running the bench. I wouldn't be surprised if he will be for the rest of the year. And the only one that's realistically going to get time will be probably from the bench, and Morgan Rogers. They've taken opportunities, I think, in this transfer window to fill the gaps now so that they can go big game hunting, big ticket items in the summer. Am I mad to think that? And I know financial fair play is going to have a bearing on it, but am I mad to think that? Because I've said it twice in 2 different things recently, and I fully believe that there's one big swing for the fences to happen in the summer in an attacking position. And I think that what they've done is they've solidified the fact that they've gone, right, we're going to concentrate our efforts now on X player to go into X position because we filled those gaps. Or am I being too idealistic about the players that they bought?
I just think there's too many moving parts to even comment on what's going to happen in the summer. I think the biggest part of everything is Champions League football, or even Europa League football. Wherever we end up is, the money that's involved. If we get into the Champions League, that's basically FFP free 40 million straight away. so they say, not taking into consideration how far you go in that competition. So regardless of whether you go just the group stages and you lose every game, it's 40 million. So that's the biggest moving part in what we're going to do next summer. And then on top of that, that's down to Mr. Chris Heck to decide whether he puts all that back on the fans and charges us more to go into Villa Park, or he expands the stadium, or whatever that comes
to. Or Paddy, does he charge us more to go into the Oracle or the what are we going to what I'm trying to think of a massive company, the Hewlett Packard Villa Park. I think that's less than 6 months away.
Well, I tell you now,
I don't give a fiddler's fuck what they call it, because it's going to be called Villa Park. I'm
100% not getting into that argument till it actually happens.
That's why I said it at 45 minutes into the podcast, because there's no way we're talking about it. That's what you call leaving people out of cliffhanger. But
yeah, look, that's
here in Ireland. There's been a sports stadium here in Ireland that's had a naming rights issue over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and then the people who were in charge just went, fuck it, we're going to name it that anyway. Screw them. And it was even debated in our national parliament and the whole lot. So
I take it that's not the Virgin Media Musgrave Park you're talking about, is it?
No,
just the one up the road.
It's the one up the road. It's the one up the road. Yeah. It's the one up the road. But I don't want to well, I did open that hornet's nest, but I'm certainly not going to close it or get out the hornet spray to try and kill it. That's when it will rumble on.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to answer you. That's one thing for sure.
You're not going to answer me. No. Yeah. Exactly. Right, I think that's going to do it, guys. This is way longer than we expected it to be, but we tried to get it up to 11 o'clock. I wouldn't be surprised if they've already said in Sky Sports News that the lights are off at Bodymore Heath today, because I just can't imagine that there's going to be any more business incomings unless Tom Carroll rocks up at 1:15 like he did the last day. And we were supposed to sign Leroy, I think, was it Leroy Fair? And then all of a sudden they said, no, it wasn't Leroy Fair. It was actually Tom Carroll. And when people were calling Zaniolo and Longley, two of the worst loan and signings in the club's history, spare a thought for Tom Carroll. Just spare a thought for Tom Carroll and Borja Bastan.
Borja Bastan.
I think we signed him on a permanent. I think maybe Borja Bastan. I think we might sign him.
Still only a 6-month deal, thank God.
Yeah, just spare a thought. There's been a few. Gilles de Bilda. We can go on. We can go on.
John White wants to know, what's the English version of Super Value?
Morrison's?
Costco?
Morrison's? No, not Costco. No way. We're talking kind of bougie enough. Like put it this way: you want to be paid to go into Super Value, like. They never prided themselves on the race to the bottom. Anyway, it's super food. No. Don't get me wrong, and I do shop in Super Value from time to time when I'm feeling good about myself.
And either way, John, it would be great to have a point with you on Saturday in Limerick. I'm looking forward to the Cork contingent arriving up on their bus and having the crack. And it's going to be some fun on Saturday. And I hope whoever is in the comments or is watching here now is going to enjoy their day out on Saturday. And I'm not even going to take that off the screen. It was going to have a great day on Saturday. We're not going to be talking to you before then.
We'd certainly be talking to you there if you're at it, because I'm looking forward to meeting.
And when someone mentioned that we're still going to be standing in 48 hours, me and you are, because we've got to mind ourselves and look after the big man and get him on stage and have the absolute crack with him, talk about the old days, and then the world is our oyster after that. You can come and enjoy every amount of crack that you like. We might even sing a few songs or put a DJ on the stage or have the crack, and hopefully the players can do the exact same thing on the stage and get 3 points in the bag.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were unlikely to do anything tomorrow night because, as I say, I'll be going to go and meet a few lads coming over from Birmingham tomorrow night, and then Saturday is the big day, so we hope to see you all there. And as Captain Nugget says, start practicing your oohs and your ahs and your Paul McGraths, because there's probably going to be an hour of that before we actually get to say anything to him. There's just going to be like when we did it in September, there was a good 4 or 5 minutes of Paul McGrath.
And he wasn't even there.
And he wasn't even there. Exactly, he wasn't even there. So I imagine what it's going to be like when he's there. But yeah, we're going to have to wrap a bow on this one because I'm getting the Brian Little Villa Park. I'm for that one. I'll give it that one. I think we could be creative with this one. I think we could be creative for this one. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up on that. I gotta make tracks. But
I got to finish on this one, Neil.
Everybody.
Rich Mac wants to know, how is this podcast not the biggest one? It baffles me. Rich, it doesn't baffle me. We have the greatest little community and we love it. We're here for the crack. We're here for the love. We're not here to be popular or for everyone to love us. But if you come here, we're happy to have you. And thank you very much for your kind comment.
Absolutely. This is us, the two of us doing this is a lot cheaper than a psychiatrist anyway, I put it that way. And I mean that for us, not for you guys, because you guys are probably getting more mentally unstable listening to this podcast. But for us, it's a lot better to temper our emotions, to chat to each other.
It doesn't help that we're so giddy about what's going to happen at the weekend. So.
No, I don't know.
I'm really not looking forward to Sunday. So if you're at a loose end on Sunday, just reach out and check that me and Neil are okay, because Sunday could be a little bit of a downer.
I'm already feeling the shivers. I'm already feeling the shivers. But if anybody knows how to lose about 2 stone in 48 hours, DM me. My DMs are open on Twitter. It would be a nice surprise for me if there was possible. But yeah, apart from that, we've everything done and everything ready now for the podcast. Just a case of showing up. So cool. Listen, gotta go. Talk to you later. In the meantime, everybody, see you Saturday if you're coming. Still no idea whether we're going to be able to record it or not. We will fire something up on social media to let you guys know. But look, as I say, anything from here on is a bonus. For those of you who can't make it, it would be brilliant for us to be able to record it. We're just still trying to iron a couple of things out. But in the meantime, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.